Hi there, and welcome again. As you know, I'm the Reddit Ranger, and this is my living room. Today, I have Mighty Morphin Power Priestess with us, and we're going to be reading some nice guy stories. Now, this is a live reaction. Neither of us have read the story before, and this one is quite the doozy of a story, if I might say so myself. All right, here we go. Here we go. Title is Nice Guy Offers to Let Me Bear His Children to Purify Their Blood. All right. Excuse the formatting. I'm on mobile. Forgive me. This is a long one. To start off things, I should give some background. I, 22 female, attend an HBCU. Oh my goodness. Getting my master's in African American history.
Okay.
My father is a third generation Chinese American, and my mother is a Nigerian immigrant. Although I'm half Asian, the only thing I inherited from my dad is the blend of hair and skin color between him and my mom. Because I am basically a walking clone of my mother, aside from looser curls and slightly lighter skin, I have always identified as African American because that is what I am perceived as. Now that that's out of the way, I met a nice guy in my last year of undergrad because we had a class together and we took the same train to and from school. Although I tend to come off as pretty cold, a cultural personality trait I picked up from my dad, he would chat to me on the train and I enjoyed his company. We weren't really friends per se, just school buddies, and never talked for or hung out outside of school events or riding the train. And like I said, I can be kind of reserved, so we never discussed our personal lives until, flash forward a whole year, he asked me if I'd like to meet him and some friends at the movies because It Chapter 2 was coming out. And I said yes because not only do I love Stephen King, but I needed an excuse to get out. That's where I went wrong, apparently. Everything started off great. We met up with a guy and girl, seemed pretty cool. Things started to get weird when we were waiting in line for tickets and I was chatting with the other guy. We'll call him Tom. About the book It, and nice guy slipped his arm around my waist and said, "Don't go trying to steal my date, Tom. You've got your own," and laughed. Woohoo! My face went blank, and it immediately clicked in my head. Nice guy thought this was a double date.
Ooh.
But I had a whole boyfriend that I lived with. Once inside, I pulled Nice Guy aside and let him know straightforward this is not a date. You did not ask me on a date. If you did, I would have said no. I have a long term boyfriend. He seemed disappointed, but he took it well and apologized for not being more clear. Okay, so far so good. And with that, we agreed we could be friends and watch the movie. I thought that was that, but I was so incredibly wrong. Through the next year, he continued to flirt with me and even added all my social media so he could text me there. I would constantly remind him that I had a boyfriend and that it was cool for him to, and that it wasn't cool for him to do that. And then he would apologize and do it all over again. Then once quarantine started, I would catch myself getting too into my phone, so I would occasionally delete my social media for a few weeks and download it again. Nice guy did not like this and wouldn't hesitate to tell me. Finally, I decided to tell him we would have to be friends from a distance. You know, no ill will, silently root for each other or say hi, but not actually hang out because he was making both myself and my boyfriend uncomfortable. That is when he took it upon himself to find me my boyfriend's Instagram. Oh no. This was weird because nice guy didn't even know my boyfriend's name and I didn't like posting my private life on social media, just art and cooking mostly. This was also weird because the only social media my boyfriend had was an Instagram account for his business. He trades in forex for rich people and takes percentages and earnings and also does class Patreon teaching to trade. Her boyfriend's a crypto bro. Whatever.
Nice.
Nice guy sent my boyfriend messages about how he was holding me back and a smart beautiful girl like me shouldn't stoop to as low as dating a guy that dropped out of college. He said he could take care of me, provide a life I deserved, even though he paid all the bills so I could focus on school without having to work. Yeah, he even accused me of forcing. He even accused him of forcing me to be Muslim so he could control me. He was not. I have been Muslim my whole life. After that, I messaged him and said I didn't want any contact whatsoever with him, and once quarantine was over, not to even look at me if he saw me on the train. This is when he really snapped on me and told me that I make the school look bad because I'm a white girl pretending to be black and probably stealing scholarships away from actual black people who deserve it. When I told him he sounded ignorant and that I was Asian and African, not white, he said, Asian is white, and then ranted about how I could have had a black king take care of me.
He's a whole tank. Oh,
But I'd rather date some sand.
What did
Oh,
he say?
sand N word. My boyfriend is Haitian and Dominican, but many people think he looks Middle Eastern. And he was gonna do me a favor by letting me bear his children and purify their blood
Oh my goodness.
and detailing all the sexual things he would do to me. It shouldn't be a shock that I was completely done with him at this point. After I told him that he ever approached me in person, I tase him in the balls and block him. I write the professor of a class he was TA for with screenshots of our convo attached. It's been 4 months since, and every once in a while, I get a weird DM request from a shady account named after rappers with some kind of threat, but the dude doesn't even take the same train anymore, and he lost his TA position, so I guess that's an L for nice guy. That one became even more hilarious towards the end there.
Oh my god. So okay, but she didn't like. Okay, HBCU. So we assume he's black
Yeah.
in some capacity.
Yeah.
So that kind of nice guyism is
Very prevalent. Yeah,
Very,
yeah,
but the title said something about letting him like
yeah. Purify my what was it? Purify my blood, bear his children to purify my bloodline. Yeah.
She didn't mention that.
She did towards the end. Towards the end, he was like, he would tell me that he was gonna have my kid or let me bear his children so I could purify the bloodline, you know, to make them more black.
percentage black.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Some Hope Peppery on. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a wild one. Like the fact that she was still willing to be friends with him, even after that weirdness with the first date, should have been like. That should have been that's well enough, right? He should have just taken that as a W. At least she didn't embarrass him like super publicly, right? You know, she took him aside, was like, "Hey, this is not a date. I got a boyfriend. If you wanted this to be a date, it should have been clear." So she was really nice to him at that point, and he should have just cut his losses there. The fact that he just kept pursuing her, even after he knew that she had a long-term boyfriend that she was living with and everything, is wild.
Holy shit. Uzi. My bad. But the levels of self-hatred and racism is like you assume her racial makeup and try and belittle her, and then you assume the racial makeup of her boyfriend and belittle that as if Middle Eastern is not valid. So
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
his ideology is kind of confusing too, right? It's like first he's talking about, you know, black purity of the bloodlines or whatever, but he also thought he was a white girl. So he wanted to date her when he thought that she was a white girl.
right, because the funny thing about it is these dudes like a light-skinned girl. They do. They see. And then, of course, she has Asian features. She might have the Asian eyes. And sorry, but some of these dudes really like they really fetish
Fetish.
Asian girls,
Yeah, yeah.
white girls, or mixed girls.
Yeah, for some reason, Hotep culture and Weeb culture overlap a lot. There's a
Really?
big overlap in that
Oh
Venn
my
diagram. Yeah,
God,
yeah,
weird. That
yeah.
is so weird. That is a combination I don't want to meet in real life. Actually, I'm gonna
You
shut
have.
up. I
Yeah,
have.
yeah, you have. You know plenty.
I dated one. Oh my God.
You're like, wait,
Wait a
actually,
minute, I
I
did do that. It was frightening.
don't. Like, wait, yeah, yeah. It's an odd but
Oh my
really common
God.
pairing, and I don't freaking know why.
That that was sad.
Yeah, yeah, that was sad.
That was really sad.
Yeah, so lesson to all nice guys. If you want to recover out of nice guyism, always take the first no and just move on. It's a whole HBCU. If you wanted to find yourself a beautiful black queen, there's plenty out there in your class. You got turned down by one, just move on.
Oh my lord. The fact that he was so dead into her and did not know anything about her. Right? He didn't know anything about her father, her mother, didn't know that she was Muslim. He didn't know anything about her. Everything was just superficial. So yeah, bruh,
Yeah. Well,
not the move.
that was our first Reddit story, and we hope you enjoyed it. There's going to be a lot more on this channel. So if you like this content, leave a comment, ask us what your thoughts on the story was. If there's any Reddit stories you want us to talk about, leave a link in the comment section. If there's any popular subreddits you want us to tackle, leave that in the comment section too. And we'll see you next time.